You have entered the Chronics rabbit hole. And Michael C., thank you so much for your Patreon membership request and for bringing back down some Moonsorrow. And we're finishing off the Kevin Kintea album from Moonsorrow. And we are doing 2 songs today. You told us to do them together because they just fit too perfectly. So the first song is Tuulen Tytär - Soturin. And the last song is Matkan lopussa.
Thank you so much, Michael C., for bringing the final 2 songs from this Moonsorrow album down the rabbit hole. I can't wait to get into it.
The first song in English means Daughter of the Wind / The Way of the Warrior. And then the last song is called At the Journey's End for our English listeners.
Cool. Those are some really cool song titles, especially to send this off with everything that has been leading up to these final songs.
Absolutely. And we checked out the lyrics as well, Michael C. Thank you so much for supporting us with this and for getting us through this amazing Kevin Kintea album.
Thank you so much, Michael C. Michael C., I'm so excited to get into Tuulen Tytär, which is the Daughter of the Wind, and Soturin, which is the Way of the Warrior.
Good job, honey.
I am so excited for these ones. Thank you, honey. Because we read the lyrics and they sound absolutely beautiful lyrically in English. I can't wait to see what Moonsorrow does with this because I know they're going to take it to like a whole nother level like they always do. And they're so cinematic in their storytelling with their music that I'm just excited. If you guys are as excited to be here as we are, remember to like this video, comment down below some of your favorite songs or albums from Moonsorrow, and if this is your favorite, tell us why. And subscribe to this channel if you haven't already so that you never miss a new video coming down the rabbit hole.
We are loving the Moonsorrow community that is growing on this channel. We really are thankful for all of your support, and it feels great to be able to finish another album for Moonsorrow and that we're blending these last 2 songs together. And I know how there's some songs that just are meant to be together. So thank you so much, Michael, for letting us know to do it this way. You told us there wasn't a video that has both of them together, so you gave us both. That's why we're doing both. We listen. We're very excited for this. And you also said the first one's very instrumental. So knowing it's the Daughter of the Wind, that kind of makes sense. And then there's a moment where they speak. So we can't wait to finish this one. It's been one of our favorite albums, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, honey.
They have the wind really strong.
Cool. So peaceful. What instrument is that?
I don't know.
Boing, boing, boing. Wow, this is so different. The most beautiful Moonsorrow song I've heard so far.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wow, this is such a different feel. Yes. Want the melody back too. It's more powerful now. This is so joyful.
It is.
I've got to say something here. Like, this is the most Christmassy vibe I have gotten from Moonsorrow here. You got the colors of the red and the white and the snow here, so maybe that's helping to it. But the conversation that you and I had before going live, I think we need to just give a tiny little context.
Absolutely.
Because it was like the daughter of the wind and then the way of the warrior is what the song's about. We don't know when it cuts to which one, but the feeling of all these daughters at home that want to have these like special hymns for their fathers to hear is kind of like the type of thing we were talking about of how all these men are going out to war while these women are at home, and they still want to be able to encourage their fathers and their brothers that are out there. So then the wind of the daughter of the wind, it's like their hymns getting to these people, and this is the type of feeling that I was wanting to hear after we had that conversation. So it's really fitting the narrative, I think.
Absolutely, it is. I mentioned before, even getting into the song, how Moonsorrow is so well versed in being able to present their emotional themes cinematically through their music.
Oh yeah,
just so well. And so like we haven't heard any lyrics yet in this, but there was lyrics sent to us for this song.
Yes.
So like once we get into those lyrics, I think it's going to be right at the end of the song going into the next song.
Definitely.
But this has been like exactly what you said is the perfect emotional feel for the lyrics that we read and what we 100%. Were expecting going into it. I'm really glad you mentioned Christmassy, because I was literally feeling like this is very Christmassy.
It's a Christmas tune. It's like the time when they're finally not fighting, because sometimes when people don't fight on Christmas, I know that's probably not happening in Vikings time, but
maybe. But maybe. Because I think like I'm pretty sure no matter what era that you are from or in history that we're looking at, there's always been rules to war.
Yes, there has.
Yes.
All right. So ethereal. Moonsorrow. Ooh. What a sick rhythm. Yes. Ooh. Yeah, you can hear how it's moving right into it. So,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. Incredible. Real quick before we jump right into this one, which is A Journey's End, I believe it was.
Yes.
The one we just heard to finish that off after they had the speaking was a Warrior's Path.
The Way of the Warrior.
The Way of the Warrior. And as we know in Valhalla, all these warriors are fighting to make it to the city of the gods, and that's kind of their calling card. So like that's what they're kind of talking about to finish that off. And we were talking about the separation of the male and the female, where they go for the afterlife with the pagan, especially with the Vikings, where the girls have their own place to go and the guys have their own place to go because of how their place was structured. You had the people at home, the people at the war, and it kind of makes sense. So it was kind of, we got to think about all this as this is coming out, because it's the Daughters of the Wind. Then it blends into the Way of the Warrior. Then that's to get to Valhalla, and then now we're doing The Journey's End. So it really, they're so thematically consistent with what their message always is, but they somehow bring this journey in a different way with every album.
They really do bring this journey in a different way with every album, and that each album has been following along the same path as you're saying with that message. And I do really like how they did these 3 songs, and thank you so much, Michael C., for letting us know to do these in order together, because honestly, it's like a 3-parter of one song.
100%.
And like what you're saying, like the Daughter of the Wind is singing her, this exact lyric of it is singing her most fair song.
Yeah.
Singing her most fair song out onto the wind, and she will sing her song until the time ends, for all of time, all of eternity.
Yeah.
And then going into The Way of the Warrior, the lyric is that even a breeze can help a groaning man make it through the eye of the storm.
Yeah.
And that's often like when you have your partner or your father or your brother who's gone off to war, and you're just always wishing that they either come home, or in this case die a hero to make it to Valhalla. It is that beautiful connection that's between them.
And that win can sometimes be a photo.
A photo, exactly.
You know, where the warrior's having such a hard time, and then he just needs to look at that photo of his daughter or of his wife and be like, yeah, I've got to go and keep doing this.
Absolutely. And going into this, I love that you brought up, so it's Valhalla, and then I believe it's the fields of Freya, who is the where the women and the daughters go, for them to live in peace and harmony forever in these beautiful fields.
Exactly.
And then you have the warriors who've gone off to Valhalla to have this feast and this extravagant, like celebration for eternity
with all their ancestors.
With all their ancestors. Yeah. And so it is that separation that was experienced back then in that time period, but it was done in such a beautiful way.
Yeah, because you have to have a myth and a story to continue things moving forward, and that is something worth going where like, hey, I'm going to be losing all these male figures in my life to this war lifestyle, but take advantage when they are here, and then we also have our own freedom at the end of this as well.
That connection together.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
It is very beautiful. Just to bring up the music quickly, because the story was just amazing.
Yeah.
But that was an instrumental song, and I think that's actually one of the few instrumental songs, if not and it wasn't fully instrumental either. So yeah, but Moonsorrow does a lot where they have these extravagant openings that you have to have a lot of patience for going into them. And this was a perfect example of that, because it just kept layering more and more onto it.
Yeah.
And then we mentioned this in other videos, but then correctly taking away pieces of it,
stripped it
so
correctly.
That it felt like it was always building, even though it was building and stripping the whole way through.
Yeah.
I loved when the drummer came in with that.
That interesting marching type of a drum.
It is a snare drum.
Right.
It's the snare drum.
Right.
And I loved that he brought that in, because that is actually such a simple drum beat and rhythm. That's actually a drum beat or rhythm that I can do, and I'm not a big drummer.
Right.
Because it is that original marching drum beat.
Definitely.
That brought us into the warriors and the way of the warrior and what it is like to be in that military feel. And I thought that was beautiful to then build up on that and have the rhythm going through the rest of the instruments as they went through there.
Definitely. Let's get going on to this one, though. All right. You can tell at the end of the last one, it was a perfect blend, wasn't it?
A perfect blend.
Yeah. You could hear the doings coming in.
And that timpani.
Yeah.
That really deep drum in the background.
That's the timpani right now.
Yeah.
Nice. a somber triumph.
It is.
When they come in, feels like the heartbeat is just slowly fading away.
It is. Absolutely.
One last song. Strip it away.
What a way to end an album.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard me at the end. That was like a somber triumph.
It was.
And what a perfect way to like contemplate the looking into the sky at, like, that's kind of what I was just picturing, just like your final breaths going away and you're just contemplating what's about to come, and hopefully you're going to go to Valhalla and all that stuff. And I'm really glad that they brought in a female singer, because one of the things I wanted to say is, like, this is the first time with Moonsorrow that it felt like it was like the female spirit was what was coming through the music.
Yes.
And a lot of the other Moonsorrow songs, we got a lot of those war cries in it, and a lot of just this intense double bass drums and these incredible high tempo moments. But this one was so stripped down and so instrumental and so ethereal, so wind-like, and just such a contemplation type of a experience at the end. And like you said, it's just a perfect way to end an album, because especially, we always said with this album, it felt like the different one out of the Moonsorrow experiences we've had, and it had a lot to do with its ability to not just rely on those quicker tempo moments to have these memorable memories from it, right?
And with this one, I really like that they brought in the female voice, because while you were explaining that about having that female spirit coming into it and like looking up as you're having your last breaths, this is Vikings. That female spirit is the Valkyrie.
Right.
The Valkyries are the ones who decided which warriors made it to Valhalla.
There you go.
They were the ones who chose who made it, because not every warrior made it to Valhalla.
And you have the tattoo of the Valkyrie,
I do
right?
have a tattoo of the Valkyrie,
right.
yes. And so the Valkyrie is the one who chooses who
makes it there,
and
right.
What of the, I believe there's 7 afterlives you make it to, because it's not just the fields for women or Valhalla for men. There's a whole bunch of other ones.
That's like the pinnacle of their
But that's
things
the pinnacle of what they're trying to reach is Valhalla.
Yeah.
And the Valkyrie then choose the warriors who die in battle to where they go.
Interesting. So they're like the angels in a way.
So that's their angels. The Valkyrie are the angels, but they're warriors.
Interesting.
So
okay,
that's
cool.
a really interesting thing that I was just thinking about while you're bringing that up. I'm like, oh, this makes sense that they had the female come in for this song specifically.
I like that then. Yeah.
Because the lyrics are actually telling us about the warrior who he's like saying his last song on the wind.
One last song.
That he's calling out. Maybe it'll be brought home, maybe it won't.
Yeah.
As he's laying there in the moss about to be taken because
Right.
he finally has his warrior's death.
Yeah.
But he's like, but I pray I'm not forsaken, so that he makes it to Valhalla.
Definitely.
That he's not forsaken and ends up in one of these other places because he's done his duty, he's done his job for his family, for his land that he's protecting. And so I thought that the first song, the Daughter of the Wind, Daughter of the Wind, I thought that one was going to be the one that had a female voice in it because it was about the daughter.
Yeah.
And it didn't, which that was fine. So it was more of telling of the daughter, so that was kind of interesting. But then having this one with the female,
it all makes sense that way, doesn't it? Because even if the spirit of that song is coming from the daughters, when it gets to the people who are the warriors, they're going to be sung by the men still.
Absolutely.
But then when the Valkyrie comes to decide your fate, then that is the time when the female is speaking. So
100%.
I'm so glad that you brought that up, because then that even fits more into the theme of their pagan and the city of gods and all that they're trying to establish with this music too. So that's really great. And if you know that stuff, then you would know more. And I think that's why Moonsorrow is really loved and have diehard fans, because of how they really stick to a certain theme, and then you can really dive into it because of that. That's why we're feeling like we can take a lot more from these songs, and we could talk forever about this stuff. Like even for me, as a Christian, we're trying to get to this heaven that's like our Valhalla, and death is our reward to get to it. So like,
absolutely.
I think all religions have this thing that gets you to this pinnacle of what we think experience is.
And you have to live your life correctly for the reward to fit the life you've lived. Because if you haven't, then that reward becomes a punishment or a sentence.
Yeah.
And so it's really interesting how it is played out both through Vikings as well as all these other religions and myths and lore of the world that is out there.
But it was such a different song vibe that I almost didn't think this is Moonsorrow, but it sure was. And that's the brilliant of them, because I want to go check out another album, and we've dived so into them, and they're such long songs, and I sometimes don't think we have the patience for this, but we do, and it it surprises me how effortless it still is to get through these longer songs, and it's a band like Moonsorrow that can help you do that. So we're so happy to finally finish Kevin Kintea, and I'll make sure to make a playlist for the full albums outside of just our Moonsorrow playlist itself, because you guys are the best. Thank you so much. And Michael C., hope you had a good new year, and 2024 is treating you good so far. Chronicans, we are now exiting the rabbit hole, folks.
Thank you so much, Michael C., for finishing Kevin Kintea with us and bringing us along this journey. This has been absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to see what you bring down the rabbit hole next. Peace and love, everyone.
God bless y'all.
Take care, and bye for now.
I know what's coming down next.
You haven't told me?
No.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Enter the Chronicness.
Special thanks to all of our YouTube, Patreon, and Buy Me a Coffee members. Thank you for all of your support.
Thank you so much for making it all the way to the very end of the video. And if you have not yet done this, here's an easy way to subscribe to our channel. And if you want to subscribe to the artist that you just heard, here's an easy way to do that as well.
And if you are also interested in finding a video that you might like, just click here. Thank you so much for coming to the channel. Peace and love, everyone.
God bless y'all.
Take care. Bye for now.